Well, your Minnesota Wild look to close out a 7-game road trip with a win in Pittsburgh tonight, and we're going to have all the action live from Tom Reid starting at 5 p.m. Plus, this episode's going to feature what has made the Wild so successful up until this point. As always, we're created by New Voice Studios, brought to you by SotaStick, presented by Talk North, Grainbelt, Royal Credit Union, Livea, and Jim Beam. This is Season 6, Episode 251.
At Jim Beam, they know the importance of tradition, like chanting, "Let's play hockey" prior to the start of each game, or playing the State of Hockey anthem after a Wild win. This season, raise one to your fan family with a bourbon that invites us all to come as friends and leave as family. Jim Beam Bourbon Whiskey, the official bourbon whiskey partner of the Minnesota Wild and XL Energy Center. Drink smart. Jim Beam Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. 40% alcohol by volume. Copyright 2021. James B. Beam Distilling Company, Incorporated, Claremont, Kentucky.
Howdy, boys. It is time for the Locker Room T-shirt series to get kicked off, and that will start with a Gus Bus ticket pack. That's right. Help celebrate the Gus Bus and his goalie goal on November 1st when the Minnesota Wild take on the Tampa Bay Lightning. The ticket package includes an exclusive Locker Room T-shirt created by SotaStick and the chance to shoot a goalie goal after the game. Don't only get your shirts there, be sure to check out SotaStick.com to check out all of their unique merchandise and use Bardown Beauties for 15% off. That's SotaStick.com, and Bardown Beauties gets you 15% off. Check out the ticket package, check out all the SotaStick garb, and get your fitted today. Hello, everybody. What's up? We're back. Bardown Beauties, episode 251. I'm your host, Jesse Pierce, writer for NHL.com. I literally almost forgot my title. It's fine. We're good. This is my other host, Kirsten Kroll. I think it's because I threw off the entire intro. It's just word vomit at this point.
We're just rolling with it.
We're rolling with it, though.
Happy, technically Monday, but for everyone listening, happy Tuesday. I hope your week's off to a fantastic start.
It's going to be off to a fantastic start because you could come see Kirsten and I live tonight at Tom Reid's to kick off the Minnesota Wild at Pittsburgh Penguins game at 6 p.m. We will have a 5 p.m. pregame show presented by Grainbelt. More about that in a little bit because, Kirsten, the other reason the week's starting off good, while yes, the Minnesota Wild suffered their first regulation loss of the year on Saturday to the Philadelphia Flyers, a 7-5 game. They are a solid 4-1-1 in the 6 games on the road trip, looking to close it out with the victory in Pittsburgh tonight for the 7 game. How are we feeling about our Minnesota Wild, who are currently ranked 3rd in the Central Division, finding those wins, finding those points, and seemingly moving forward more successfully than we've seen in starts for the past couple of years?
I'm very proud of them and I'm very surprised. I'm trying to withhold some of my excitement because I don't want to set my expectations too high or get crushed like I tend to do when I do get hopeful.
This is like week 4 of Kirsten's like super somber, depressing Monday record, I feel.
Literally, guys, yeah. I don't know what to tell you. I'm going through it personally in my own life. I'm so sorry. I'm here. We're doing our damn best, okay?
Just keep trying to bring the vibes back up and
I know, I'm sorry. Like, you're asking me questions to set me up to like be this way. What do you want from me?
No, I'm saying they're doing good. I think we're a little surprised, right? But it's nice that they're on the up and up, Kirsten. That's where you're going to be. You're going to be on the up and up.
You know what? Fingers freaking crossed I'll be on the up and up because it's been however long of feeling this way. I'm tired of getting my hopes up. I'm tired of being let down. That's where I'm at. It applies to the Wild as well as my personal life.
Oh boy.
So you know what? That's happy Monday, Jesse.
Happy Monday, Kirsten. Applications now being taken for positive Peppy hosts to join.
You're not getting it from me right now. I'm so
I know. That used to be, we've flipped roles. I feel like I used to be kind of the more not angered. I don't know. Maybe I've never been angry.
You know what? I'm angry.
I can sense it, but no reason to be angry at the Minnesota Wild. I do. I'm liking the way that they are playing, right? Like I think
same. And going off the anger a little bit more. Sorry, I'm using that as a segue. I wish I could have seen a little more anger from John Tortorella in the game against Philly. I was really holding out for that. I wanted an ISO cam like the entire game just on Torts. Wanted to see a little anger. They ended up winning, so not too much for him to be grumpy about, but I'm sure he found something still. But we still love Torts. We love Torts. Although disappointing, the Wild did lose to Philly. I still was proud of them for the way that they hung in there and like didn't give up. And yeah, I don't know. So like take that loss as you will. And I bring that up just because it's so recent. It's the last game that they've played.
Right.
But overall, other than that, Wild have been a wagon.
Yeah, I mean, I think you nailed it there, Kirsten, that game, that loss in Philly. And Philly's kind of a team, right? Like I like what they've got going. I like some of their young guys coming in, but ultimately I love the way that the Minnesota Wild fought. Their second period was huge, right? I mean, they
Mm-hmm.
were down and then they came back and had a great middle period, which I love because they're getting closer and closer to completing that 60-minute game, right? Like they've started off really well in the first period and then kind of faltered in the middle and then held on maybe in the third. Whereas now you're starting to see the second period come to life in the third period. So eventually, maybe it's tonight in Pittsburgh where they string all three periods together because that would be just so much fun to watch.
Not to
Um,
even forget to mention the defense has really come together. They had a
yeah,
very offensive game against Philly. Middleton, Faber getting goals, other defensemen getting assists. So showing a little more offensive firepower there. And also Marcus Foligno.
Marcus Foligno, baby. 2 goals on the
Two
day. We're finally
goals.
starting to see a
I
little
texted
more.
Kevin Gorg and I was like, crazy. Foligno gets a goal. He interviews with you at intermission, comes back out of intermission, scores a second goal. I'm like, KG, you're the good luck charm here. We
I
need
would
more
like
Marcus Foligno interviews.
I would like Kevin Gorg to acknowledge how my predictions have been nearly spot on, even when I'm predicting a Minnesota Wild victory. In fact, I had one where it was a correct score prediction as well. He has yet to acknowledge that. This is my plea to Kevin Gorg to say that I am not the kiss of death this season
He's never going
yet.
to do that, and I stand by him. I don't
But
think he
it's
should
not
change his
fair.
stance. I
But
think it's
that's not
fair.
fair. It's
You have a bad
clearly not
track
the
record,
case.
Jesse.
I don't. I
You
don't have a
do.
bad track record.
Maybe
I
not
don't.
this season, but historically, you have a bad track record.
I'm working to make amends with that. We're all growing. We're growing. We're expanding. We're getting better at things. Um, yeah. I think
Hmm.
it's only fair. You
I
gotta see the
don't.
good and the bad. Well, that's fine. Marc-Andre Fleury night tonight in Pittsburgh as he makes his return there for what is expected to be the final time. Um, how much, I mean, the guys have talked about it, and I know it kind of gets talked about exhaustively, so I don't need to spend a whole lot of time on it. But how much do you think the boys are going to show up for Marc-Andre Fleury to make sure he gets this win in Pittsburgh? And actually, you know what? Pens fans couldn't even be mad about a Marc-Andre Fleury. I want a shutout. I know I just said it. I'm sorry, but I do. He deserves that. I would just say, Sidney Crosby, you don't need to score tonight. Just let him have this. Let him go out with let's let the Wild win 10 rip for crying out loud. You know
I'm
what?
going to
Give it to him.
timestamp this and send it to Kevin.
No, see, this isn't
All I'm
fair.
doing. No, I'm timestamping this, sending him a link and being like, just listen to this one part and listen to what Jesse just said.
Well, I'll probably say it in the game prediction as well, since it's my game prediction. So
You know
maybe
what?
maybe Marc-Andre Fleury scores a goalie goal. Wouldn't that be ridiculous if both Minnesota Wild goaltenders get goalie goals on the year?
It would be incredible.
Be insane. I love it. I need that for him.
I do too. And I think he's jealous he doesn't have one.
Oh, he's super jealous. He's the one that told Gus
Absolutely.
to go out and get after it.
Yeah.
We love that. But no, I mean, right? They have to the team's got to completely show up top to bottom, if not just for Marc-Andre Fleury.
I mean, I feel maybe not even like they talk about it. I talk about it probably more than anyone in the locker room. You look for like bulletin board material or like something to give you that extra push heading into a game, especially like this early on in the season, like especially when things are going well, like what can you do to give you that extra push, extra sense of motivation? This is absolutely being talked about.
Mhm.
Absolutely to give them that extra push or motivation to get the job done tonight.
Can't imagine the media masses that will be there tomorrow night as well. It'll just be insane,
Yeah.
unhinged.
Oof. I would
If you
hate
were
that.
to if you were to have like your farewell tour, because you've had, your stops St. Cloud and then obviously down in Rochester, which city is the one that's like your Pittsburgh is to Flurry? You know what I mean? Where it's going to be a little extra sentimental, a little extra emotional. It means a little bit more for you to be recognized in that city. Is it St. Cloud or is it Roch?
It'd be St. Cloud probably. For
Yeah.
sure, St. Cloud.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I would even argue kind of like St. Paul is kind of taken more of a sentimental
Where
aspect in my
like the career
life.
really kicked
Yeah,
like
like that's St. Paul is really where things really started for me.
makes sense.
So I don't know. I would argue St. Cloud or St. Paul, but maybe St. Paul has a little bit more of the edge.
Yeah. I mean, mine's Mott, obviously. Already,
Obviously.
already a top alum there. It's great. But I look at it as it's the place that I go back to, right? Like I came back here. Like I'd been all over played in Vegas. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't play in Vegas, but like I played in Colorado. I played in New York. I played in Iowa, and I came back home. This
Where
is
am
my
I going to
place.
play next? That's where I want to
Exactly. But
know.
then will you come back home to St. Paul then? That's what you're saying. That's your home.
I don't
No, but
know.
that's
It's feeling, I don't
not
know.
understanding my question. What's your, your heart? Although Marc-Andre's heart is Montreal, I suppose, technically.
Mhm.
I think
I
that's
don't
where
know.
it's.
This is a really deep question for where I'm currently at 11:12 a.m. on a
You
Monday.
know what? We're going through the motions. I'm just trying to spice it up a little bit, have a little lightheartedness. Like,
I
what are
know
you
you
thinking?
are, and I respect you for that. I
Thank
really
you.
do.
More good news because we're just gonna be plump full of good news today. Jared Spurgeon rejoins the team in Philadelphia. The hope was that he would, in fact, be with the Minnesota Wild team on the second half of this road trip. I don't expect him to play in Pittsburgh. I'm saying this now at 11:13, just because he's only had that one practice. I think they probably practiced today as well. I believe they had the day off yesterday. I'm assuming. I didn't look at the schedule. But right, like I just feel, or do you think he hops back in? I mean, they don't play again until Friday after Tuesday's game. So you have more time. I wouldn't rush him back. I think it's great to have him around the team, but I would give him another game off. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. I'm taking more of the pessimistic approach again. I'm like, I don't like that there's this lingering injury.
Right.
It just doesn't sound great to me. And the fact that he's still like, yes, I understand they don't want to rush him back. And right now there's really no need to rush him back. But it just feels so discouraging that he's been out of the lineup once again after
Mhm.
having all of last season off. And I'm sure he's super frustrated too. I don't know. I'm just not feeling good about the whole thing still.
So do you feel if he were to
I
play,
feel
would
he
you be more
probably won't play in
optimistic?
Pittsburgh. Huh?
If he were, would you feel better about the injury, about the whatever's going on if he were to play in Pittsburgh
A
though, then
thousand
maybe?
percent. I'd be like,
Yeah.
okay, like he's had what, 2 weeks off now?
Yeah.
So yeah, I would absolutely feel better if he played in Pittsburgh. If he doesn't play in Pittsburgh, to me, that's just discouraging. Like it's like, okay, like I understand not rushing him back, and I am not a doctor by any means.
No.
But I don't know, it just feels not great.
Yeah. I know. Again, it's going to be something that's going to be continuously watched throughout the course of the year. This week you've got that extra time off. That's where I just wouldn't, you don't need to, like you said, you don't need to play him in Pittsburgh. Yes, it's great to see him at the return, but the defense is more than capable to hold off Sid the Kid and Malkin. And I think, yeah, I don't know. Be interesting. More good because I'm just full of peppy positivity
Someone has to pick
today
up the
on
slack
this.
around here because it's not me.
I want to talk about the Minnesota Wild's offense too. You had mentioned scoring a surplus of goals in Philadelphia despite getting the loss to the Flyers. They have 29 goals scored for, have only scored less than 4 goals in 3 games this year. Power play is clicking at fifth in the league with a 30.8 efficiency. Do we have what it takes? I mean, you still haven't seen a goal from Freddie Gaudreau. You still haven't seen a goal from Yakov Trenin. Marcus Foligno finally gets on the board. Kirill's doing his thing. Boldy's doing his thing. You're getting some offensive output from the defense, as you'd mentioned, Kirsten. How good are we feeling about the offensive depth and where that's at right now? Because in this league, you need to be scoring goals. Yes, Minnesota's always been compounded of this team that is defense first. You shut them down and you're getting good goaltending, but now it's really time to turn the lights on and let the offense go light the lamp.
We love to talk about depth on the score sheet. I
Yes.
think early on this season, we're seeing it. I'm trying to remember where we started last year, and I might not be getting all of the facts right, but from what I remember, I believe it was only Kirill. Like, and then
Yeah.
Kirill was out, and then it was only like Matt Boldy, and then
Mhm.
Kirill came back, and it was back to only being Kirill having that offensive firepower. This season, out of the gates, it seems there's been able to be multiple goal scorers. Like, yes, Kirill's still like that number one. He's still the guy you think of, but I don't know. He's just had, it feels like a lot more help so far this season, and that there's more positivity in the sense that, yeah, if Kirill, maybe having a slower night, there's other people who can score.
Mhm.
And that is such a relief because we
Matt
did not see
Zuccarello,
that much last year.
right? You're getting Zuki on the score sheet. You've got Matt's Jules Eriksson Ek, Matt Boldy, and
Jewel.
Kirill Kaprizov, 4 goals apiece. The Marco Rossi with 3. So that means your top 2 lines obviously have it figured out, which you're expected to, right? Marcus Foligno, Ryan Hartman, Jake Middleton with 2 goals apiece. Marcus Johansson, Jakob Lauko, Brock Faber with 1. Um, yeah, I mean, I think I just go back to I need more from Freddie and Yakov in particular. I would like to see Liam Ogren find his way and Marat, who's in DNF, who I think both, while not showing up on the score sheet, have been they've been solid. They've been valuable on their lines and in their roles. I think there are sometimes that Liam still looks his age, right? I think Marat definitely seems more defined in his role, but I think those two are holding their own despite not finding the production. And I think for Liam, that's probably even more frustrating because he is that guy that's counted on to find the score sheet, to find the back of the net. But I think it'll come with time. Those two, I'm less concerned about as opposed to Yakov and Freddie.
No, I totally agree with you 1,000%. I mean, they're the two newest guys that are joining the roster, especially Liam Ogren. And we're 6 games into the season for the Wild. I'm not concerned. They'll find their groove. They'll find their way. The goals will come. And getting a little more comfortable with the speed and the style of NHL play. Like Liam Ogren, that's still going to take a little bit longer than it will Marat. Marat's been playing in the league a little bit longer than Ogren has. But I mean, you talk about Trennan, you talk about Gaudreau, they're vets. Like it is more concerning that they have, especially Freddie, after all of last season, the year that he had, everyone wanting him have a bounce back year. It's a lot more discouraging to not see much from those two so far just because they're familiar with the league.
I just need to see something from Trennan, right? Like I'm just so bored by him, for lack of a better word. Like I don't know what he's offering, what he's really bringing to that. Again, it's great to see Marcus find the score sheet, but in general, I think that game against the Flyers had more ample opportunity for Marcus to be the moose that we all know, right? And he said it, he did it. He was physical. The physicalness has finally started to find its way back into his game, but that's also what Trennan is supposed to bring. And here we are 8 games in, still having yet to see it. And yes, it's still small sample size. I don't consider until
Dang,
you're
I said
15,
6 games into the season. Where am I at
no,
mentally?
they're 8. They had the 2 home games,
Whoops.
so it's fine.
Throwing me off, man.
I didn't even notice you said 6.
I did say 6, and I'm holding myself accountable.
I'm proud of you.
I just
would've
forgot
put
about
it.
2 games.
Yeah, the two that we got to work.
The 2 we got to work. Also, just
one.
again, towards the end of that Flyers game, the ISO shot on Moose just being chippy, smarting off, dropping a handful of F-bombs on live TV, just mouthing them to the Flyers. I love being able to see Moose, just that aggression on the ice. It's my favorite thing ever. And Jewel almost getting into another fight out there.
Like, Hathaway just absolutely takes liberties with his broken nose. Like,
I know.
dude.
And Jules just always in the mix. He's always in the mix. And he's such a dog. I love him. I love him.
I said that to somebody who isn't a big hockey fan. I forget. Said something about Jules, and I'm like, yeah, he's just got that face you want to punch, and you love it. And they're like, that's a good thing. And I was like, yeah, no, it's a good thing in hockey. Like
he's always there. If there's a scrum, Jules is there at the forefront, like just getting tossed around.
He's that agitator, but not in like the Hathaway or Tom Wilson way, or you know what I mean? Like not in the cheap way. Like he's just
hot take, and people are gonna hate it. I love Tom Wilson. I
go back and forth with Tom.
I love him.
Sometimes it's a bit much for me. Other times I can dig it.
I love him.
I don't know. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about other teams in the NHL, not just your Minnesota Wild, because there are some teams that I really have to take a look at being very good that I wasn't expecting, and the ones that are being bad that they shouldn't be nearly as bad as they are. So who those teams are, stay tuned and you'll find out. We'll be right back. Hey guys, Jesse Pierce here for Livea Weight Control Centers. Are you ready to lose weight for good? Join Livea's nutrition plan today and receive your first 8 weeks absolutely free. Since 2009, Livea has been the weight loss leader. And whether you're looking for a holistic approach through a customized nutrition program or seeking out a medical option, Livea's got you covered. You're not only going to lose weight, you'll learn how to keep it off for good. In fact, you could lose up to 20 pounds or more in those first 8 weeks. Take it from me. I've been with Livea for a little more than a year, dropped 40 pounds, and have kept that 40 pounds off thanks to the one-on-one guided support and nutrition program that Livea has to offer. So why would you settle for anything less than the best? Livea has been voted the #1 in weight loss year after year. Visit Livea.com, that's Livea.com, or call 855-GO-LIVEA and get your 8 weeks absolutely free. Plus, when you join, Livea Medical Semi-Glutide is just $199 in your first month. It's a limited time only. Visit Livea.com or call 855-GO-LIVEA. All right, we are back. Let's start with some negativity. Let's bring this down to the very bottom, the depths of the ocean.
We want me to go even lower than
We're going lower. We're going to the bottom of the ocean because we're going to talk about the sharks. See what I did there? I did the,
You're so proud of yourself right now.
The ocean and the sharks. Yeah, that's what I did. They are the first team to be horrible. No, I'm just kidding. But literally the first team in NHL history to lose 9 straight games in back-to-back seasons, as San Jose sits at 0-7-2 to open up the year. They got the first overall pick, Macklin Celebrini, last year. Macklin Celebrini, unfortunately injured, put on IR with a lower body injury early on. It sounds like there's at least another week before he returns. He is week to week. He's progressing. How many games is San Jose going to lose before they win? Let's take a look at their schedule, shall we? And now, mind you, again, I think we gave San Jose a little bit of grace this year heading into the season. Like, oh,
yeah, because they had Celebrini, they had Will Smith.
Yeah.
They made moves.
So their schedule for the next week, they've got, they've lost, here's the teams they've lost to that are not good. They've lost to Anaheim. They were close. They lost to Anaheim. They lost to Chicago. They lost to the King. I mean, again, they've lost to everybody, but they haven't been. Vegas was a bad loss. Winnipeg was a bad loss. They got the Kings, Utah, and Chicago coming up here in their immediate 3, followed by Vancouver, Columbus, and then they're here in Minnesota, and then they got the Minnesota Wild next week. Do you see? I see at least a win. I think you could find a win there.
Yeah, they got to find a way at some point. Like, I don't know. And you talk about in sports how, like, if a bad player has a bad stretch, they just go out and just get hammered and then hopefully find their groove. Maybe the whole team needs to do that.
I mean, on paper, their defense looks tough. Like,
the defense needs a night out to find their groove.
You have Cody Ceci. That's about it. Jake Wallman. I guess those are your 2 men, but they're all very, very young. Henry Thrun, young kid. But offensively, I mean, you've got middling players. You still have Logan Couture. You've got Ty Delandre, Barclay Goodrow, William Eklund. You got Granny, Carl Grunstrom, Luke Cunnin, Giovanni Smith, Will Smith, Nico Sturm, Tyler Toffoli, Alex Wenberg, and Fabian Zetterlund.
I forget about Nico Sturm sometimes.
Good old Nico. Yeah, and then their goaltending side. So it's basically their back end. Can't do much. Mackenzie Blackwood's your goalie, and Vitek Vanacek. Not great.
No.
Sorry, San Jose. We had faith in you.
We did. We just expect a little bit more.
I do. I kind of want them to continue. I like the losing streak.
It's the drama.
It's the drama. We need that a little bit. You know?
We do need it. We do. We do.
On the flip side, can we talk about...
No.
Yep.
I saw the notes. No.
Can we talk about... It's not going to be Dallas, though. It could be Dallas, but it's not. We're going to talk about the Winnipeg Jets. 8-game win streak. They are plus 20 goal differential, just beating teams and taking names. This year, I think we were both, though, on the same page. As much as I have this little soft spot in my heart for Winnipeg, I didn't think they'd be very good. Like, I just kind of thought there was too much overturn. I I didn't know how they'd be, frankly. I figured I look at them as a bubble team, but they are not. Like, what do you make of the Winnipeg Jets as of right now?
I have two things to say. We're only 8 games into the season. Calm down. It's
Well, now
still
we're only eight
early.
games into the season.
Yeah, we're not 6, we're 8. We're only 8 games into the season. Calm down. Two, all win streaks come to an end. Ask the Nashville Predators.
It's good to see the Nashville Predators get a point, though.
It's about time. It's about time.
I mean, I don't know. It's just it's fascinating to me. Again, it's the goal differential. It's not even just the wins. Like there's smoking teams out there, and I'm surprised. I guess that's the more thing. Like I'm not necessarily saying that we need to eat crow because we weren't like, oh, Winnipeg's going to be terrible. I did not think they'd be this good.
You're just
They
giddy
wouldn't be a
about it.
wagon.
No,
They wouldn't be
don't
a
call them a
wagon.
wagon
They're a wagon. How are you not going to call a team that's undefeated a wagon?
because they're going to lose at some point, probably really soon.
I mean, they beat the Oilers 6-rip. They beat San Jose 3. They beat
Okay, San
Penguins
Jose.
6-3.
We
They beat the
just-
Flames. They beat Calgary 5-3. Calgary's supposed to be pretty solid this year. I'm just saying. And then they got a matchup against Toronto tonight, Monday.
I don't know. We're 8 games in. I say calm down.
You need to calm down.
You're being too loud. I could be a little louder.
I'm wondering how long
I
they
have
can
things
keep
to
this
say.
up. I just don't know if the Jets, I don't think they're I don't know if they're contenders.
I
Are
don't
they
think it's
contenders?
sustainable. I don't. Like, you talk about lucky bounces in the game of hockey, bad bounces. Some teams, such as Nashville, they're currently taking a couple bad pucks. Well, Winnipeg, they've had some lucky bounces, maybe. Just metaphorically speaking, in the game of life.
The way that you are defending the Nashville Predators on your deathbed is insane
I
to me.
expect more. I need them to have another U2 moment.
But
Okay?
I don't know. Again, I don't know why we expect like this was our own problem. This was just absolutely our own fault.
No, because you get Marshall Show, and I can't talk today because I know I
No,
didn't
I
say
love his name,
right.
so say it again.
No, because
Say
I
it
didn't
again.
say it right the last time.
No, you did it. Marsha Show.
Yeah,
Jonathan
it's
Marsha
too much
Oh,
effort for me
so good.
today. So
So
you get him, you get Stamkos, you get Shea, you got Roman Yossi, you got Philip Forsberg, you got the pieces, you got UC Saros in net. You should be a lot freaking better than you are.
100%.
20,000%. Just be better. Get it to figure it out is my plea to the Nashville Predators. Figure it out, please.
8 games
Stop.
in.
Don't embarrass me. Sabrina Carpenter reference.
Oh, yeah.
Please, please, please.
Heartbreak is one thing. My
ego's
another.
another. I beg you, Nashville Predators, don't embarrass me.
What a line. What a
know.
line. I do love that because that is, I look at all of my past breakups and I'm like, it's literally not heartbreak for me. It's ego every time. Like
Yeah.
I wanted to win and like I just wanted you to want me. Just admitting it. It's a fault of my own.
Too soon. Too soon. We're not there.
You're on the heartbreak spectrum
I
sometimes, right? But when in general in your life, I'll give you some of my ego if you want.
I could use ego. Please, everybody. This is my plea to you as you're listening to this episode. I need an ego.
I'll share
I need a
mine.
complex.
Lord knows I have a surplus that I don't need to be having.
I'll take some off.
There's no segue.
I left
There's
you
no
speechless.
segue for this one.
I
You
left
did
you
leave me
speechless.
Only because I don't know how this is going to go. This next topic, I don't know how it's going to go.
Like with me?
No. This is your intervention. I've been meaning to tell you something. No.
Oh God.
I'm trying to move on. No, the next topic that I had sent us to discuss, because it's Halloween, which I love Halloween.
Yeah.
You love Halloween. And in the spirit of Halloween, which is this Thursday, what horrifying moment in Minnesota hockey history would you bring to life via costume? For me, like I initially go to, and I go recency, right? Like I know there's probably, again, and this is for hockey related. I know it's easy to go Vikings with this one. But I would say like Joel Eriksson playoffs versus the Dallas Stars and losing him. Like somehow we could bring that to life. Like maybe it's a 3-second timer because that's how long he was on the ice before he had to leave again. Or maybe it's
I remember that vividly, and it was heartbreaking.
mhm. Or I would love to bring to life. It wasn't quite horrifying. It was actually pretty electric. Is when Martin was it Brodeur or was it Hasek that upended Marion Gabrick as Gabrick skated on down into him because that was legendary. I'd bring that to life in a costume. Like I would need somebody to be Hasek and I'd be Gabby and I would just
I
that's
mean,
crazy.
recency, one moment that was horrifying for Minnesota fans when Kirill Kaprizov was injured against
Winnipeg.
Winnipeg. Little cross check,
Yep.
reenact that. The low hanging fruit here, Norm Green moving the team to Dallas when we
Ooh,
lost our hockey team.
true. True.
That,
Horrifying.
yeah,
Yep. Um, there's gotta be more.
there's definitely more. All we've ever known is pain.
I mean, was it horrifying when you signed Parisi and Suter to those contracts?
The
Maybe.
buyouts have been, they've been
Have they?
good, but also it's been like,
But that's why maybe you just go back and you say, hey, the contracts were horrifying
yeah,
in retrospect.
yep.
Yep, could do that. How about the Ryan White trade? The oh my gosh, why am I blanking on that? Hold on. It wasn't even necessarily the Ryan White.
Victor
That
Rask.
Victor
Victor
Yes.
Rask. That whole
Let's-
ordeal, Nino Niederreiter, Victor Rask.
I mean, you could go down the list of trades, I think. Hold on, I gotta find this one. It's gonna people are probably screaming at their radio or however they're consuming
The
this.
Matt
Like
Dumba
it's
injury, how he was never the same.
or how about the tragedy of Nick Leddy and never signing him and letting him play? No, I gotta find it. Hold on. I'm almost there. Nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it either. Oh, come on. Where are you? Yes, that Martin Hansel. That's who it is. Martin Hansel. That was the hands down most horrific trade the Minnesota Wild have ever made. They got him and Ryan White in exchange for, but they were terrible. They were awful. It was terrible.
I feel there's
That one.
more. There's definitely more, and I'm just blanking.
I know. I need you guys to drop your most horrifying wild moments that we could bring to life via costume. Because maybe that's what we do in the future. I need to be more creative with my costumes. Lately I've been just resting on my laurels.
Honestly, like
Skeleton
best
makeup.
costume, like let's flip it, like maybe not worse, but switch to best. Flurry trying to fight Binnington. Like honestly, that's the most iconic.
Yeah,
That's one of the
that would be
most
good.
iconic moments in Wild history.
I do like that. Yep, that would be good. Or Flurry as an ice girl. Or like the cleanup crew, ice crew.
Yep.
And people would be like,
Basically,
"Are you an ice
anything
crew?"
Marc
And I'll be
Andre
like,
Fleury
"No."
does,
I would be like,
put it
"No,
in a
I'm not."
costume.
Or you could be Flurry as McLovin.
Literally,
Like it,
like I just said, anything Fleury
yeah.
does, make it a costume. It's iconic.
But you have to tell people that. It's like, "No, I'm not McLovin. I'm Flurry as McLovin."
Yeah. Gosh.
Oh, I love
Or
that.
the cornrows. Duhame, Boldy,
Oh,
in
yes.
Cancun,
Uh-huh.
or
Yeah, I
Cabo,
like that
wherever they
one.
were.
Somewhere that we can't afford to go.
Exactly.
Yep, definitely the case. Let us know what you guys can relate to for some Halloween costumes. Good or bad. That's true. We could go good or bad.
Yeah. Or
I
just
can get
Jonas
down on that.
Brodin being Jonas Brodin. Like,
Just an apple carrying around a bunch of apples because he's an assist machine.
just give me
Oh,
another reason to look at him,
how was that?
honestly.
I like that one. I do. Just hand out apples. That's what he should do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let's wrap up this week's episode. Kirsten, give me your wild week ahead. They are at Pittsburgh today when you're listening to this on Tuesday. Then they come home, finally, host the Tampa Bay Lightning on Friday and Toronto Maple Leafs on Sunday. How are they going to roll?
2-1. The
I
only
think you
loss
were
I see
correct.
is to the Leafs.
I think you were right this last week, weren't you? Again?
No, I said that we were going to lose to Florida. And I got the
Oh.
score right, but it was
Mm-hmm.
very opposite results. And then I think I said we'd get a win against Tampa, and I think lost to Philly. So I think I was almost right.
You're close. Can't. Yeah, you're close. I'll start holding us more accountable for that
Yeah.
eventually. I'm going to say should be Tampa. I hate to do the same as you though. Is that terrible? Like that's just not fair. Like I just don't want to do the same as you.
I
I
mean,
think they
if
should
that's
beat
how you
Pittsburgh.
feel, just say it. Like, just do
Yeah,
it. We don't need to be different. Just say what you think.
the same. It can be the same.
Um, it's okay.
I am gonna say 2-1-0 as well.
I don't
They'll
do
lose to
the
Toronto.
overtimes. I don't do the shootouts. I don't put that energy out there.
They'll,
Give me
well,
regulation, baby.
especially since those are home games. I ain't putting that energy out there. I'm not writing 2 or 3 stories in that gamer. Come on now.
The Wild are coming
Yeah.
home. My personality's coming back. My purpose, my will to live.
I just don't even know how I forget how to do it, right? Like it's been a long time. It's been a real
I
long time.
I need this. I need this.
Yeah. It's very excited. Like it's gonna be weird having things to do. I hate though, you know what my biggest gripe? I know I'm not trying to like, oh, it's so sad that we have to do this. It is so hard to leave because I know you get there a little bit earlier, but so I'll usually leave maybe 5:30. Um, to get dressed and leave when it's dark out. Like I hate
Yeah.
that, right? Like it's very hard to be motivated to be like super dressed up and like cute and then just to go to work. It's just very difficult. I hate that because that's what we're
Yeah.
going to start dealing with now.
Well, some of us get there 3 hours before.
Yeah, I don't have to, but
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Can't relate.
Can't. No, good for you. But I'm not going to. All right, that's going to do it for this week's episode. Again, don't forget, come check us out at Tom Reid's tonight, Tuesday, 5 p.m. We got trivia, giveaways. There's twofers on pints of Northeast as well as premium bottles. This is all courtesy of our friends over at Grainbelt. We're going to be talking Minnesota Wild puck before they drop the puck in Pittsburgh against the Penguins. So we'll see you there. As always, shout out to all of our sponsors, Royal Credit Union, Jim Beam, Livea, and our friends at Talk North and SotaStick as well. You guys are the best. Share, rate, subscribe, like, and we'll see you next week, if not before. Goodbye.